Try that again. There we go. All right, cool. Here we go. So the first thing that we want to go through with everybody is just a run through of the schedule of events that are happening at this event. It is a very large event. We're kind of pulling some of our previous events with Mutt March and our Meet Your Best Friend adoption event that we do every year and pushing it into this event. So it's pretty big. There's a lot of things going on. There's going to be a lot of information that we want to give you. Most of that information will come through your run of show document, which is like a virtual packet that we send you via email, probably in the next day to give you all of the details that you need for this event. So while we have this training and we're going to give you a lot now, there will be a ton of information in that. So don't panic to try and like remember every little detail that I'm talking about tonight. You will get that in your email as well. So the first thing we want to go through is the schedule of events. So the event itself technically starts 7:30 because that's when we are inviting people to come and pick up their packets for the run that's happening. So we have a 5K and a 1K walk, which you can see in the next two spots here. They start with our 5K, which is called Hope Unleashed 5K. It's a run to end pet hunger. At 8:30, we have one that starts with no dogs. So if people want to come and just run the 5K map and just do that by themselves, they can. And then at 9 o'clock, anyone who would like to come and do that with their dog can. So we've got them staggered. It's just 5K. You'll see the map in a little bit, so it's not huge. And we're hoping that it'll be kind of wrapped up pretty quickly, but we still want to stagger that just in case. And then the actual event will start at 9 o'clock. So, Jen, I actually think we are missing our walk. Is it supposed to be in there? No, it's after that. Sorry about that. At 9 o'clock, the other festivities going on begin, and the walk is at 9:30. Sorry about that, guys. I didn't see it
Yep.
on. So, I got somebody to come
I did
in.
the same thing earlier today when I was looking at it. I was like, wait a minute, where's the walk? But the actual festival opens up at 9 because that's when the people will be finishing up. Some people from the 5K will be finishing up. Um, I mean, I'm assuming we're going to have a couple of fast runners out there, so they can actually start enjoying the rest of the festivities. But the actual march, the walk for animals will start at 9:30, and that's with or without dogs.
Yeah, and like I mentioned, you guys will get to see the map of that in just a few moments. We'll show you each of the kind of big events that are happening at the same time inside this event so you can see what that looks like. Okay. So then, once the festivities start, we've got food trucks, a beer garden, we've got the adoption area started with Meet Your Best Friend, which if you're familiar, we typically have Meet Your Best Friend at Mike Morse's law firm. He's just hosting it with us here at this event. So it's the same kind of concept, and we'll walk through that with you guys. And then we've got some sponsor and partner activities. They'll have booths, they'll have giveaways, they'll have some fun, like interactive things that they're doing with guests that people can come and stop by and have some fun. And we'll show you what that looks like on the map. And then, as we mentioned, at 9:30, we've got the walk starting for people to do their little 1K walk around a different area so that they can have some time with their teammates if they are doing some fundraising with us. Okay, and then after that, around 10 o'clock, they're going to make some announcements for anyone who won the races, who did fundraising, and have some awards going out for people who did the fundraising with us. And then they'll also be making announcements for the upcoming dog contests. So if you've ever been to Mutt March with us, we've had some costume contests and things. So we'll have those again this year at 10:30. We're going to have a peanut butter licking contest to see who can get rid of their peanut butter on whatever item they give them the fastest. And then at 12 o'clock, they'll do costume contests. So we'll probably have lots of people dressed up um, with their dogs at this event. And then at 12:15, we will have a owner and dog look-alike contest. So if anybody thinks they look like their dog, they can come down and compete with that, which is going to be cute. So, and then we'll do a second round at 1:15 of the peanut butter licking contest. We're anticipating that a lot of people might be interested in that one because it's an easy to join type of contest. So we have two opportunities for that. And then if anyone's coming later on, then they won't miss all of the activities. And then at 2 o'clock, that is our end time. So we should be wrapped up. We'll help, kind of escort people through. Anybody who wants to linger in the park, they're more than welcome to, but we'll be shutting things down on our end. Okay. And like I mentioned, please feel free to drop questions at any time in the chat, because we'll come to those once we go through all of these steps with you guys. Okay. Oh,
Do you want to run through this one, Ashley, or?
I can, yeah. And if you just want
Okay.
to jump in on anything. So I know this looks bananas. We're gonna walk through all of it with you. There are a lot of volunteers and a lot of people for this event. So we know that there's a lot going on, and we wanted to kind of color code and make sure that it was easier for you guys to see. Um, as one big picture. When you receive your run of show document in your email, though, you will receive information that is pertaining directly to your position and the part of the event you're working in. So, because we're all here right now together, we're going to go through all of it. But when you receive that packet in your email, it's going to have just what you need in your specific role. So, again, don't to get too overwhelmed because I know it looks like a lot. But we're going to make sure you have all the details that you need. So the first section that I'm going to start with is our Meet Your Best Friend area. For this map, we're just going to talk about kind of where people are working, and then we can get into a little bit more of like the details of that. The Meet Your Best Friend event is the adoption event. So everybody who is pink, you're going to be within this space right here where it says MYBF Vols. That's Meet Your Best Friend Volunteers. In this circular space right here, we're going to have this all gated off, so that, if we have any loose animals or anything, of course, that will help with that, but also kind of keeping the flow of how much traffic will be coming into that space. So we want to just make sure that we're letting in, a, a amount of people that we could handle at once with all the animals so that we're not overwhelming staff, volunteers, or the animals that are in that area. So we will have some volunteers that are gate guards helping with that along with staff, and making sure that they, let in a few people at a time. We've done that before at Meet Your Best Friend, where we've had just, like 20 people at a time come in so that we're not overwhelming anybody who's, in those areas. So two gate guards, and then I thought that was you, Jen. I'm sorry. Um, two gate guards. Then we have people that are in these other positions with puppy handling, kitten handling, helping with setup, and then people who are bringing dogs for us. Oh, I think somebody's off mute. If you could just make sure that your microphone is muted. Oh, okay. I think we're good. Um, so all of our animal handlers will be in this. You'll receive your separate information. If you're one of our dog handlers or you're coming from Petco and you're bringing dogs with the staff there, like I mentioned, I'll have additional details for you in those run of shows of like what time you should arrive at the shelter, what time you should head your way down there. So we won't go into that tonight, but I will have those details for you coming. Okay. So you guys can see a couple of your names on here, of where we've placed you. We have made a couple changes. So if you see your name and you're concerned about where we placed you, please let us know. One of the changes that you can see on here is that our volunteers who signed up to kind of help set up with our partners, we anticipate our partners being set up pretty quickly. We only have two this time around. So there shouldn't be a lot of setup for them. So if you're comfortable with it, we have you transitioning to just help in the puppy area after they're set up. Because we can always use more hands with puppies. We just had a transport of puppies, and so we're hoping to bring them to this event. So anybody who can have an extra hand can help in that area. And puppies get adopted pretty quickly at these events. So that's where the rush of people is probably going to be right away. Okay. Anything else to add, Jen?
Yes.
Meet your best friend.
I think you pretty well covered it. I just want our gate guard person to know that we will have a staff member there supporting, so not one person has to manage that all on her own. Um, and there will be breaks and things of that nature, so I just wanted to put that out there. And the other thing I wanted to mention, you see some time frames on there. We're in the process of calling a couple of people because we did move some things around. Most of the people it has not affected, but if you are one of those folks that have said, wait a minute, I thought I signed up for 8:30, we are asking puppy and kitten handlers to be there at 8 a.m. So that way we have more time to prep before the adoption event starts, because that starts right at 9. So that full hour, you do not need to arrive earlier than the time that we're asking you to get there, no matter what your role is. We have already calculated enough time for you to park, to get to where you're going, to huddle, to get to your space. So everyone has about an hour buffer before they need to be ready to go in their station. So please do not arrive earlier than your time. We will not be ready to get you into your stations before then. So just wanted to make sure we said that. We love
Um,
you, but we need time. So
Yeah, that's one thing that I'll just add to that too, Jen. If there's adjustments to your time, and like Jen mentioned, we'll be contacting you with those specifically to see if that's okay. But it's mostly because the parking and then getting to the space, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. That's just trying to factor that in for you guys so you have enough time to move to your space and feel prepared. And then the only other thing I want to mention is that we'll mention everyone's roles a little bit further into this, but Kellen will be your coordinator if you are one of the Meet Your Best Friend volunteers. So each kind of area of this event has a coordinator that you can refer to. So in your run of show, it'll have who that is, their specific contact, so that you can call them if you have a concern, and how to get to them in the areas that you need. So Kellen is the coordinator for Meet Your Best Friend. Okay. All right, the next area that you'll see on this map is all the purple. So we've got these a couple different colors because we have people coming at different times for these roles, but these are all Pooch Patrol support roles. So essentially what that is, if you've never done Pooch Patrol before, is just supporting the public when they come in. It might be directing them to where they're asking to go. We'll have maps so that you can help direct them if they're looking for packet pickup, or they're looking for one of the sponsors or the bar or the stage or anything like that. You can help direct them. We will also have staff around who can help with that too. Just welcoming them, like saying hello. You can talk to their dog if they're okay with that and you're okay with that. You can see if they want some treats or if they need water. We'll have water stations around, things like that. Just being generally friendly and helping people. And then in some of the areas like the sponsor area, or near the bar, we'll have Pooch Patrol helping potentially hold a leash if they need to like grab their drink, or they need to grab a gift bag or something like that that they're picking up, if they need any assistance with that. So just really kind of being available to people and making sure that they're okay. And then looking out for anything that might be concerning behavior, and then letting somebody know, any staff member, if you're just worried that someone's really stressed out or their pet is having a hard time around the other animals, just letting us know so we can go and help and talk to them and make sure that they're okay. So that's the Pooch Patrol roles, and we've got you all over the place because it's a big area, and we want to make sure that we have enough people to just make sure that everyone's comfortable. So we'll start up here. So I know it's hard to read, but where you see my blue mouse up here, that is our packet pickup spot. So this is where people are going to come and get their packets and their shirts or whatever they're getting for the 5K and the Mutt March 1K. They were going to grab that first so they can put their little pins on their shirts and things like that. So they're going to come here. We've got three packet pickup Pooch Patrol volunteers helping out that area. Same thing, if they need help holding their leashes or something while they're grabbing their stuff or pinning their things onto their shirt and they, need an extra hand, just helping them out with that. And then we have, so that's this 3PP, and you can see it over here on the side, 3PP. And then scattered throughout, we've got these 1Vs, which is just one volunteer from the Pooch Patrol area, scattered around the outside for the morning portion, just to help people get to where they need to go, because this is a big park and people could be coming kind of from anywhere. So we just want to make sure that we direct them to the packet pickup or wherever they're trying to get to first thing in the morning. That should be the main area they're trying to get to, as everything kind of kicks off before the festival portion. So those are those 1Vs that are scattered on the corners here. And you can see your name over here if that's you. And then we've got sponsor volunteers in the sponsor areas. So all of these squares and rectangles that you guys are seeing all the way here and all the way here, those are sponsors and anyone who's like got a booth with us giving away freebies. There are supporter teams. Kroger's here. They're going to have a big display for pet food because they're looking to, talk about how important it is to feed communities. And then we've got Team Lighters here, and they're going to have talking about cruelty and rescue with our team in that area. Then we've got all sorts of partners, so Delta and Kroger and all these like other smaller tents on this area. And then Ford is also a big sponsor of ours for this event. So they're going to have some tents on this side, these little blue tents that you see here. And then all of these blue things down the middle are their vehicles. So they're going to have a bit of a car show happening at the same time. So our two sponsor volunteers that are in each of these areas are just going to be in those areas. Same thing. If someone has, they're giving away free stuff at any of these and they just need an extra hand for a second while they're trying to put, things in their bag or something, or they're just looking for something and helping give directions. Those are what these sponsor area Pooch Patrol volunteers will be helping with. Okay, so that's all the dark colors um, for purple. And then the reason that we have some lighter colors going on is because there's going to be a transition period for when our later in the day Pooch Patrol volunteers join us. Since the festival isn't starting right away, it's after the 5K portion. The other things like the stage for music and the bars and stuff aren't open yet until that festival portion is open. So we have additional volunteers joining us then, and they'll be added into these spaces where we're expecting it to just be busier because people are going to come for the festival portion. That portion's free to the community, so anybody could come in and just hang out with their dog or by them, without their dog, with just their family, and have some fun with food trucks and stuff like that. So anyone who's the lighter colors are people who are joining us later, and that's two volunteers at each of these purple spots. Here, everyone's kind of got like a little patch of green. That is their area to be aware of. And like I said, there's two people, so you can spread out, work together, have someone to chat with if you need it. In those each of those areas once the festival begins. And same concept, just helping people out if they need any help with anything, looking for concerning behavior and letting someone know, that same kind of stuff will happen there. Okay. Anything to add to Pooch Patrol right now, Jen?
Yeah, I just want to add, and I apologize if I repeat because I'm also answering some questions in the chat, but the festival Pooch Patrol shift from 10:30 to 2, so like that second shift. We just didn't put everyone's name on that on the sheet because nobody else is coming after 10:30. It's only the PM Pooch Patrol volunteers. And so anybody who is signed up for the 10:30 to 2 shift specifically for Pooch Patrol, that will be you. And we will have you, like Ashley said, in one of those areas helping keep an eye on the dogs in that particular part of the grassy area. A lot of the walk traffic should have died down by that point. So it's mostly going to be people enjoying the event. And we do have a couple of open spots left for both the Pooch Patrol sponsor areas and a couple for the Pooch Patrol walking path, which we're about to move along to a little bit sooner. So if you know any friends or anybody that wants to come with you, even if they are not specifically already a Michigan Humane volunteer and you'd like to bring a buddy along with you, please let us know. We'd be happy to help get them signed up if they want to join us for the day. This is a pretty fun event. No matter where you're working, even if you're not in the adoption area, you will get to see lots of doggies. Some will be in costumes. Most of guests are like, yes, please come greet my dog, come pet them. So, as much as Pooch Patrol is keeping an eye and making sure everybody is enjoying the space safely and getting guests, finding staff for guests if they need help with something, it's also just getting to like socialize and hang out with other animal lovers. So, again, regardless of where you work, you're going to have a lot of time and a fun time with animals for this event. So, it should be a really good time.
Yeah, I always have a blast at all of these events that are happening all at once this time around. They're always a lot of fun. And people are just lovely. They just want to have fun with their dogs and they want to have the attention with their dogs. So just give it to them. Um, so I will be your coordinator in this area. So I'm like the Pooch Patrol coordinator. So Ashley Ray is your person. And then once the walk and the 5K are over, Allie and Jen will be joining over here too when we get those additional volunteers. So then we'll have three of us spread out. But for just for the morning, I am your point person for that. Another thing I just like to throw on there is if you're in Meet Your Best Friend, if you're in the adoption section with Kellen, and your animal gets adopted and you wanted to stay, you made your way down here and maybe your animal gets adopted right away, you're more than welcome to stay, and be, in whatever role is available. I don't want to like make people feel like they have to leave right away if they want to stick around. You're also welcome to stick around and just enjoy the event as well. So I only like to say that because I know that puppy handlers, puppies get adopted really fast, and so do like small dogs. So if anybody's bringing a small dog, you might hopefully get it adopted right away and still look for something to do. So we'd be happy to have you around still. Okay. All right. Jen, are you ready for us to move forward to 1K and 5K?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Was there, before we move forward, was there any questions in the chat that we should read out loud or related to this?
Um,
I do not see any except for Sonia asked if showing up earlier will help.
yeah, so I just responded to that one. It
Okay.
depends on the role that you're in. So, Sonia, thank you for offering. We can send you an email after the meeting today just to follow up. If I'm pretty sure you're signed up, I'm going by memory here now, so I'm pretty sure you're signed up for the 10:30 to 2. So potentially there could be some overlap. But really we could talk about that offline. So it just really depends on your role because other roles not necessarily. Most of the stuff is happening 9 o'clock on.
Mhm.
So hopefully that answers the question.
Yes, thank you. I think I actually have it in my calendar wrong because in my calendar I have it from 12:30 to 2
Oh,
for the time slot. So I might be totally wrong on my time, and I will when I get to the service website, I'll look again as to my time frame. But what
Okay.
you're telling me that I am at 10:30.
I'm pretty sure that you are. Again, I'm
Okay,
going from memory right
I'll change
now.
my calendar right now.
I'm going from memory.
That's okay.
But I don't see you listed on any of the other ones, so that's why I'm thinking that's where
Okay,
you have you.
perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
okay. All right. I think we're good then. Okay. So the next little areas might look a little wonky to you. We're going to try our best to describe them as we can. We've tried to break it down as best as possible for where these volunteers will be. And Jen's going to talk a little bit about the 5K, which is this next section.
Yeah. So, um, so it's a little hard to see here, but up in the left upper corner, yep. So you can see Roosevelt Park up there. So Point A is where the runners are starting from. That's where they're going to start the race. Not the A that, not the purple A, sorry, the little
Right.
A up by US 12. Yep, that's where it's starting. And they're going to follow that purple line all the way down, all the way, yep, just follow all the way down to the river walk to where we have that last red star, which is the E. Um, and then that's the halfway point for the 5K. And then once they hit the Riverwalk, they're going to turn around and the runners are going to come the other direction. So that is the path that our 5K runners are going to take. Remember, the 5K starts at 8:30. So the first racers will take off from that Roosevelt Park there up at that little A. I can't believe I just realized now that we have two A's on the map. um, but not to be confused with the color codes that we got on the right side of the screen. So I think we're all right. But they'll kick off at 8:30. Remember, that's no dogs. And then at 9 a.m. is when the 5K racers, so a lot of these people are going to be runners, will be running with their dogs. I mean, it's a 5K. I've done a 5K before. I did not run the entire time. So even though it is a 5K run, some people will probably still sign up for it just because they want more exercise. They want a longer loop. They want to see the sights of the city. That's one of the reasons we're kind of excited for this new location. It's just something different and more ways to engage with different community members. So, volunteers are going to be periodically spaced out. These are our 5K court marshals. This is also a Pooch Patrol role. That's why you're going to see the purple color code that you noticed on the upper map. We're following it down here to this. The positions all the way on the right column here. You can see A, B. Those two are lighter colored because they overlap with the Mutt March walk. But otherwise, they are still on there. So you're going to see them on the map, A and B. It's got the volunteers' names and the location, the cross streets of where they're standing. So the red stars next to the A, that's, ooh, I'm not going to be able to pronounce that street name. Denzel and Lacombe. That's where volunteers Devin Smith and Marie will be standing. That's actually the one of the first parts that people are going to pass through when they're going on the walk, and then they're going to come down to where B is. That's Bagley and 14. So we have two more volunteers there. We tried to pair you guys up because we always like to have people with a buddy. Buddy systems are great. You know, if you get a little bit of a lull because not everyone's running together in a pack, which will happen, you still have someone to chat with and you're not hanging out alone. You have a bud, and then you can be excited because you see the person coming with it now. You're like, yeah, this is the next stopping point. So you're waving them on and making sure the runners know exactly where they're going next. So Bagley and 14, you can see there's a little bit of jog there on the map. So the volunteers will help make sure that the racers know that they're going to continue along on, and I can't see the name, the Greenway.
Yep.
What was it called?
The Southwest Greenway.
Southwest Greenway. Thank you. So after that, it's pretty much a straight shot. They're going to be following that Southwest Greenway all the way down to Point C, where that little red star is. So that's another little tricky spot. They're going to have to cross over West Jefferson there. So C on the side, you can see north and south crossing. So we have two visiting volunteers. Joining us for that particular space to help guests go across. To go across the SPART there, and then they'll continue along West Jefferson till they get to Point D, and then we'll have two more volunteers. Ken and Rick will be there, and they'll be making sure the volunteers turn and go down along the river lock all the way till we get to Point E. That's the last part. We have two more volunteers there, Alyssa and Jillian, and their job will be, yay, you made it to the halfway point. Great job racing with your pooch. Thanks for supporting Michigan Humane and animals in your community. And then they'll turn them around and they'll be running straight up the exact same way they go. So point D, just make sure you're looking for your volunteers at point C, and then they're going to direct you down the greenway. And then C is going to, again, don't turn until you see your volunteers on point B. point B, keep following along all the way again till you get to point A. So the 5K is an out and back trail, if you're familiar with hiking. They're doing the exact same thing all the way to the halfway point and then all the way back. So could be a little bit of traffic control there. So Pooch Patrol volunteers will look for you to kind of help support in this area. Again, our 5K court martial Pooch Patrol volunteers, just making sure everybody is safe in that space. I'm sure the runners are going to be doing their thing and they're probably going to not need a lot from us, but we want to make sure they stay on the right path and they're not getting lost downtown. There will be some sign markers and things of that too. But again, we wanted volunteers at those critical turning points just to make sure people don't, I say get lost, but they're not really going to get lost, but just make sure they're following the path and they're actually doing that 5K that we've planned out for them.
Yeah, I just
So
want to add real
go
quick,
ahead.
Jen, that these volunteers, since you're out and about, will make sure that you have safety vests as well.
Yes, yes. Um, Also, I will see about if we have enough walkies to make sure point E has a walkie. And if they don't, I've already communicated with those volunteers that we'll be in touch with them through their cell phones. I am the point person for all 5K court marshals that are in that particular Pooch Patrol role. So when my run a show goes out, Ashley is going to make sure that my contact information is in there. Feel free to put my information right in your phone. So if you have any trouble and we don't have, because I don't think our walkies that we have go all that will go that far, the event ones that we have for volunteers. Because again, 5K, well, it's a mile and a half. We might get a little bit of reach, but I worry about across the river and downtown. There's bigger buildings and things of that nature. So I'd rather us be able to connect with phone. So I'll be doing the same thing. I'll be saving your contact information into my phone. So if I receive a call from you, I know that it's you and I can answer and make sure that I'm supporting you while you're there. But really shouldn't be too crazy. Again, people probably start trickling at A and B between 8 and 9, and then 9 o'clock the next run will go. So I think we have this roll set from 7 to 11. We're feeling by like 10:30, most of this will be wrapped up. 10, 11 o'clock the latest, and then we'll call you back in from your points. So you'll walk back in again. All the way to E is about a mile and a half. A 5K is about 3.2 something miles. Don't quote me exactly. I'm not good with the metric system. And then you'll come on back. So if you are watching this recording and you feel a little bit concerned about your spot and feel like it's too far of a jog, let us know. We can move people around. But we tried to be really, really selective of where we put people. And if you signed up for a court martial, you were further out on the trail. If you signed up for a walking path, we moved you closer to the event space so you didn't have as far to go. So I think that's all I got on 5K, unless there's anything else you want to add, Ashley.
There's just one more thing, because I don't know if we covered this in the initial announcement of Tailgate, but we do have a 5K company operating this with us. So as lovely and helpful as Jen is, we do have like an actual 5K operator that will be working through this as well. So I just wanted to let people know that there will be a structure that he's put together, to make sure that it's safe and it's well, put together in directions and signs and things like that will be involved. So I believe his name is Mark, and he'll be helping out Jen in
Yeah,
the area as
that's
well.
a good point. We're working with a company since Michigan UMA is not an expert in 5K races. This is our first time throwing our hat in the ring. So we're working with a company called East Side Racers. So they are helping us make sure that we're following a similar template or a typical template for a 5K. And that's why I said we have some visiting volunteers. So we have a Stefania and Lyrics. They signed up through the volunteer recruitment that Eastside Racing was doing. So that way there's people who have some experience with volunteering at a 5K will be out and about supporting as well.
Okay. Anything in the chat that's related to 5K that we need to bring up?
Um, Specific to 5K, no, but I did get a couple of questions about showing up early to look around. I know, Allie, you said you're welcome to come earlier than your scheduled time. I would say that is okay specifically for our people that are in the afternoon shift. So the 10:30 to 2:30 Pooch Patrol. If you want to come a little bit earlier to walk around, you can. But again, we have a buffer. So most of the morning time festival volunteers are there till 11. So you have a 30-minute overlap of checking in with us and us getting you to your space and helping you get familiar with the event. We'll have printed maps on site. So if you do decide to come earlier, I would not come earlier than 10 a.m. for that role. Because then you'll have an entire hour that you're hanging out early before you really need to get full on in action. Now, if you get to your spot by 10:45 and guests are asking you a question and you're ready to rock and roll, by all means, you can start rocking and rolling and answering questions and meeting pooches. Like, it's not like, nope, you're watching the clock like that. But we did build in a little bit of buffer so you can also chat with some of the volunteers that are already working in that space and with us, anybody that's supporting your area. So if there's been like any hiccups or things like that, we'll be able to like prep you before you're on duty, if you will. So I just wanted to add that little bit in there. If you are the other roles, please do not come early. You already have an hour buffer set in to your role. So just want to reiterate that if you come too early, you will be standing around looking at grass. And we don't want that for you guys. Your time is valuable. So we want to make sure that you guys are, you have things to do while you're there.
Yeah, the festival itself doesn't start till 9 either, so there's not too much to look at, I don't think, until closer to a lot of the time. So, yeah, there's just not a lot
Yeah,
going
because
on
the
yet.
racers and the walkers are not walking around Roosevelt Park either. They're off the path. They're out kind of moving through the city. So, unless you're like on a walking path, there will be maybe a trickle or two of people like the racers that finish early, or if people show up right at 9 specifically just to hang out for the event and they're not participating in the walk or the run. But most of those people are probably going to meet your best friend the adoption event. So again, you're welcome early, but I wouldn't do more than 10 o'clock if you're the PM Pooch Patrol, supporting the festival and in Roosevelt Park, because then you'll have a full hour before you're like officially on duty, and everybody else already has that hour built in.
Okay, cool. All right. So that was the 5K. The next portion, and this people being on the walk area with the lighter purple will make more sense with this next map, because this is the 1K or the Mutt March as it is still. This is just the new map of it in the new location. So Jen, were you going to take this one?
Yep, I
Okay,
can do this
cool.
one as well. Yep. So this walk, remember, starts at 9:30. So this is the last of all the walks. And actually there's a couple updates that we need to do here. Karen is unable to make it. So we are down a couple positions here. So again, if you know anyone who wants to come out or join the fun, we're going to send out another recruitment email tomorrow. Ashley's going to be doing that just to see if we can fill up a couple of the roles. Again, arriving earlier doesn't necessarily help. We need people in specific spots around the location for this. So, but I know this looks a little bit wonky, so we'll walk through this the same way that we did with the other one. The little orange A is where the walkers kick off. So marchers will be with or without dogs. This is very similar to the Mutt March. It's just a different footprint. They'll go on down. They're following that purple area, the purple arrow. They're going down 14th Street. They're going down 14th Street till they hit D, C, B, then they're turning and they're coming up 15th Street E all the way up to 15 until they hit Dazelle in Lacombe again and back to that B. That's the last point of where the race ends. And then that opens up, that little orange B opens up into Roosevelt Park. And there's a stage with music there. There's food trucks on the side. We got vendors off to the left. The open bar is going to be off to the right. I don't know. Some people might be drinking at this time, but hey, If they want to, we're here for it. We're trying to make it like a community event where people can stay and hang out, which we did try to do with Month March, but it was a smaller footprint. So once people did the mile walk, they're like, okay, I ate at my food truck and I'm ready to go now. So we're really trying to make this a bigger event, more of an experience where people can stay and linger, meet other, bring their family out and really enjoy the day. Across a beautiful backdrop, Michigan Central Station, absolutely gorgeous now that it's been redone. So our volunteers again, that are serving in this area, this is Pooch Patrol specifically for the walking path. Um, we're looking to fill about 6 spaces if we can. A and B are the same, they overlap with the 5K. So those are going to be filled already, and that's why those lighter purple colors are the same on the 5K map as they are on this walking map, and that's why the ABCD is out of order, because I wanted A on the 5K map to match A on the walking path, and same thing B on the 5K and the walking map to match, if that makes sense. Um, C is where we have Laura. She'll be hanging out there. So again, most of it we're letting them know, cross the street here, keep heading in a straight, keep heading until you get to point B, till you see your next volunteers. And then Sarah and Brad are in a pretty critical space, because that's probably one of the most critical spaces of the walk, because they're telling them they have to turn. So you're gonna go off. That's Bagley. No, yeah,
Mhm.
yep, that's Bagley there. So they're gonna hit Bagley, do a little jog onto 15, and then they're gonna head back on up. So it would be nice to have someone at E, but if not, we'll have volunteers at A, making sure they turn onto Lacombe and filter in right through that orange B. So we do want people to follow the path. There are going to be some barriers, and again, the food trucks and stuff are going to be there. So while we're not going to police it that hard, we still want to kind of keep one way traffic going as best as we possibly can. So this is not an out and back. This is actually a loop. They're just finishing into the park. They don't have to walk all the way back up to A to completely be done with their 1K walk. So that's the 1K, very similar to the 5K. Volunteers are doing the same thing. They're cheering volunteers on. B is going to let them know that they've hit the halfway point. If anyone looks like they're struggling to make the walk, um, again, our volunteers at other points can help them turn and get back to the path sooner. And we will also have support on site where if like there's a medical emergency, say for a dog or a person, it's not supposed to be that hot for this event, but something happens. Um, Again, we'll make sure you guys have cell numbers programmed into your phone. So if you're a walking path volunteer, Allie Bradley is your point person. She's going to make sure your phone numbers are in her phone as well. You call her if you don't have a walkie, and we're going to get help to you right away. And so we can provide the best customer service. It's rare. I don't want people to think accidents and crazy things are happening the entire time. But, we have had someone like a dog have heat exhaustion once at March. It was closer to June. So, again, I don't think we'll experience that. Or we had someone with mobility issues that thought they were going to be able to make the short path and then they weren't. So 1K isn't a lot, but it's still a decent amount. Um, and people want to come and they have fun, but sometimes their dog too is not handling it well around the other dogs, and so that might be a reason that they need to cut and go short. So if someone does need to cut the 1K short, our volunteers can absolutely help them do that. So just wanted to put that out there. This is not so much in stone that they we have to wear people out.
Yep. And same concept for this. We'll get you guys, there's your safety vests and things since you're out on streets technically, just so that you're visible in those areas. And that will help with people knowing where they're going because they'll see you in your vests and you can direct people to their vests. The next volunteer in the bright color vest down there is where you're going to go. So
This might be a little bit early in the meeting, but I'm excited to say it because I think people are going to be really excited. We have t-shirts this year for staff and volunteers.
yes.
I know that's a favorite. And we felt it was really important to be uniform and promote this new event. So we do have enough shirts for everyone. We did have to estimate on sizes, so I hope we have everybody's size. We did overestimate, but you know, we're still having people sign up, so we can't have an exact count. But that's why a lot of folks are going to be meeting, and we'll talk about that in a minute, so I won't go too far in depth. But that's why everybody has one meet point before they get started, because we want you to have a place to drop down your stuff. We'll huddle up the people who are working in the same role as you, and then we'll walk out together. And if you want to change into your t-shirt or use the restrooms or whatever, it's all there. So I'll pause there because I think it's the next slide coming up. So
I
I'll
think
turn
so.
it back over to Ashley.
Yeah. Real quick, any questions in the chat or anything about 1K March? Or are we good?
What are we supposed to wear? There are event shirts available around Rival, but this is something I think I meant to mention on the 5K walk. I probably should mention here. Um, Folks that are working closer to the river walk, if you haven't done it before, it is very windy usually next to the river. Please dress warm and in layers. I can't stress it enough. I've made the mistake at Bark in the Park. I've made the mistake at previous mega marches if you've been with us that long. And we have done one on the Riverwalk before. And let me tell you, it ended up being so cold and so windy. It sprinkled. The rain did go away, but because everything was already wet and overcast, many of us were miserable. No rain is forecasted. So we got that in our favor, and it's looking like really nice weather for Saturday, and this is a rain or shine event. So just please make sure you check the weather before you leave. And if you are, even if you're going to be early, sometimes mornings are really cold still in Michigan. This is early in the year, so dress in layers. Wear a rain jacket. You can always take it off. We have place again that you stash your stuff. I even told folks that are going to be close to the Riverwalk, wear a winter hat. It can always come off, but you want that protection. That constant blowing of the wind over there just might be uncomfortable. And if you're standing there for a little while, probably not a big deal. But if you're there for an hour, which many of us will be, it's going to get cold. And I don't want anyone to be miserable. I want you guys to feel prepared for this basis. So if you're not familiar, I just wanted to put that out there.
No, that's a great reminder. As someone who goes to all of our events, you can never like over prepare your clothes. So please, even if you think you don't need it, I recommend just having it just in case. We also will, like Jen said, have a drop down space for anything that you don't end up needing or you end up needing, for only part of the day or something like that. We have a safe space, which we'll talk about in just a moment, for you to keep your items. On top of that, I would recommend strong, durable pants, just like any of our other volunteer roles where you might get jumped on by dogs or, the possibility of getting tripped by one or anything like that. So strong, durable pants are good. Jeans are usually good. And then closed-toed shoes, of course, just making sure that you have something comfortable, especially if you are kind of moving through a lot of these roles. Even the Pooch Patrol involves a lot of walking around to help people. So comfortable tennis shoes, whatever you're feeling like is going to be the best thing for your feet. But as long as they're closed, just for safety reasons. And like we said, we'll have shirts. If this is something we didn't mention though, but if you are in the Meet Your Best Friend adoption area and you are handling a dog in that area, we do have the shirts that say ask, or the vests that say ask me how to adopt this dog. And you will also receive one of those so you can wear it while you are promoting your dog in that space.
Only one other thing to add,
Mhm.
because I've seen volunteers do this before, and it's a great way. Like some people are like, "Oh, I really want to wear my shirt, but it's cold and I want a long sleeve." Just wear a long sleeve underneath. You can always size up on your t-shirt and wear it over if you want. So you can do that. If you do need to wear a jacket because it's cold, no big deal. Just make sure you bring your volunteer badge and you have that on you. Again, a lot of people in these Pooch Patrol roles, we're going to also have we have Pooch Patrol vests that are like neon yellow. I know
Mhm.
it's a little silly, but again, you're out and about and we want you to be easily visible. So we will have those for you, and most of them are loose fitting. So just wanted to put that in there. There are definitely things that you can fit over your clothes. You don't have to change into that t-shirt and feel like, oh, great, now I'm freezing because I don't wear just a long sleeve shirt that you can pull a shirt over, or sometimes even hoodies people have done under there.
And because you mentioned, Jen, name badges, it's a little late to the event now to get one if you need one. But we do bring blank ones to the event. So if you don't have a name badge, like if this is your first event or you just haven't received one yet, please still let us know that you need one so we can make you one for future events. But we will have blank ones that have a spot for you to write your name. So we'll bring those as well. Okay, I'm going to keep going. So we talked about this as we went through, but this is just some reminders of who is working in your areas. Kellen, and we've got some photos in case you don't recognize us yet. Kellen will be the volunteer coordinator for Meet Your Best Friend in the adoption area. So he'll be your main point person. We will have additional staff in all these areas as well. So please don't feel like you just have to find Kellen if you need assistance or any of us. If you see a staff member and you need help, and you can't find one of us, please grab a staff member. They'll help you out too. But Kellen is in Meet Your Best Friend. Myself, Ashley, I will be in the festival areas, and those different shift times that are 7 to 11, and then the 10:30 to 2 shift times. I'll be your point person to look for, and picking you up from our meeting location. Allie Bradley is our packet pickup. So anyone who's helping up at the packet pickup area from 7 to 10, and then as well as the Mutt March. She's been a pro at our Mutt March at the old location for a while now, so she's helping out with that again. And those volunteers who are working with that between 8 and 11. And then Jennifer Rosen will be a part of the 5K, like we mentioned, and helping those 5K court marshals. And then once we transition from that, she will also be assisting the sponsor area and support Pooch Patrol volunteers in the festival area. So, like we mentioned, once those 5Ks and the walks are done, Allie and Jen will join myself over in the general just event space to help with all of the Pooch Patrol volunteers. So you'll have more of us once everything kicks off then.
Yeah, and that's why I was, kind of trying to keep people to their time frames of when they're showing up. Because as you can see, we have staggered times for us being able to greet volunteers and help them get situated. So if you fall too far outside of that range, we might not be available to help you like find your way and where you're going. So again, I think PM Festival okay if you want to arrive at 10, but everybody else, if you could stick to your 7 or your 8 o'clock arrival, and sponsor support area. That could probably be a 9 o'clock arrival too if someone wanted to come early. Right now, we just have the one volunteer in that role, so not super, super worried about it. But those spaces, there's probably a little bit more wiggle room, but not a ton because we already built in those buffers for you. The only other thing I wanted to mention before we go off this slide, because I saw she was on this call, Stacy, just want to let you know we have you in that packet pickup area. But we had Eastside Racing was also recruiting for some volunteers to serve in that area. So we actually have pretty good coverage. The other three volunteers that are working in that area will be in front of the table, kind of doing pooch patrol. But you, Stacy, are actually like a packet pickup runner and supporting the staff and the other volunteers, like with moving the materials the racers are picking up. So I just wanted you to know that. I can't give you more details than that right now. We'll be hooking you up with Colin, who is our packet pickup lead for this event. He's one of our staff members. So I just wanted to make sure I pointed that out specifically for you because you have one of the more unique spaces for this particular event. I got the sounds good from her, so we're good. We can move on.
Good. All right. Um, So the last thing that we want to touch on here is arrival, where to park, and where our meeting point is, and just some of those additional details for you guys. So we do have a parking lot that is designated for staff and volunteers. It is the Rose Parcel parking. So we do have the address for you. We have it marked off. It looks a little silly on this map, but it's just a big open parking lot. It's not a parking structure. So it's just, lots of space for all of our staff and volunteers. And it's actually located over here on this end, off 17th Street. So the easiest way to walk, it probably isn't a big difference if you walk like a little south or north. For whatever reason, it's telling us this is shorter, but to kind of go toward Roosevelt Park once you park over here up 17th and over toward Werner to Roosevelt Park, and then across the front of Central Station, or yeah, the Michigan Central Station, and then down the side of it here will take you to the New Lab Detroit building. So you're walking over there. It's just a couple minutes to walk that across the front of the station. That is our like staff and volunteers meeting spot. That it's a building, it's accessible to us. That's where we'll have the ability to leave our things safely. They'll give you a wristband so that they know that you're supposed to come in and out of there. There's bathrooms for us in there instead of the porta potties, so I would recommend using those when you arrive, just so that you don't have to walk all the way back, hopefully. There are porta potties scattered throughout, so if you need to and you can't get down to New Lab, obviously we have those for guests as well as us. But in New Lab, there will be restrooms for us. That's probably where we'll have like our coffee and donuts, which we typically have before events. If we're providing food in that manner, we'll be doing that there. So it's kind of just like home base for everything. And that's where our team will be picking you up. So, how Jen was talking about us placing you in your spots when you arrive, we'll be gathering you once you arrive at New Lab and then making sure to walk you to your spaces where you're working. And making sure that you get into each of those roles that you need appropriately. The only difference for that is that our Meet Your Best Friend volunteers, if you're bringing a dog, especially, you can go straight to the circle spot where Meet Your Best Friend is happening. Because obviously, we don't need you to walk a dog all the way down to New Lab and back. So, Kellen will have shirts there. He'll have the vests there that say, Ask me how to adopt this dog. All of that stuff will be right there. Of course, if you need to go to the bathroom or anything like that upon arrival, one of our other volunteers who isn't holding a dog or a staff member can hold your dog while you do that too. But you can go directly to the Meet Your Best Friend area, so that you don't have to walk your dog all the way through there.
Perfect. You answered a question that was in the chat. Thank you, Ashley.
Great. I get through the chat, so I'm glad I'm hitting the things.
Does that answer your question, Pamela? Just making sure. And for any other dog handlers slash dog
Yes,
transporters.
it does. Thanks.
Okay, great. And as of right now, only the volunteers who are signed up as adult dog handlers and are picking up from a location um, are volunteers needed for transport. All other transport needs are being handled by staff, just in case that comes up. So if you are transporting an animal, you know who you are. We have already been in touch with you. All of your specific details will come in your run of show email that Ashley will probably be sending out tomorrow. So if we don't answer your questions there, you know who to bug when that time comes.
Okay, I think that this is our wrap up for most of everything. Are there additional questions? If you have them now, please feel free to put them in the chat, or I can close this out and go if no one else has anything to add. Jen, do you have anything else before I close this?
The only other thing I can think of is we will be providing lunch for all volunteers working the event, regardless of you're working an AM or a PM. the morning or the afternoon shift, it's not really a PM, or if you're there the whole time. Everybody gets lunch. So if you're leaving at 11, we will make sure that, you get a chance to get something if you would like to. As far as what is available right now, I don't know that for sure. If we have that, that information will go out in a runner show. If not, we will make sure you're aware of it day of. There will be food trucks. So it's either going to be a food and drink ticket or pizza, salads, and beverages for volunteers and staff. So once we have that, we will let you know. If you do not like the stuff that's provided for free, of course, you can go to any of the food trucks on your own and purchase at your own cost. But again, you might get just like March last year, just a food and beverage ticket for the food truck. So more information on that to come. I still encourage bringing a water bottle, especially if you have one that's reusable and you can put ice in it. Again, the weather looks nice, but you never know. And it's just nice to be able to have that on you or a light snack. Some folks are, working from 8 to 2 and you just might need a little something. I know sometimes me, I'm a snacker. I start walking back and forth and talking a lot, and I need more calories to bring up the energy, a little bit of sugar. So, you're welcome to bring those things. You can keep them on you. You can keep them in New Lab. We will be excusing you and giving you breaks throughout. Again, there's lots of staff going to be working around and working. We went with let's over prepare for this because we don't know exactly what to expect. We're hoping it's going to be a huge hit, and there will be people everywhere. As scary as that is, that's what we're hoping for. I shouldn't say scary, but it's a lot to manage. So we are so grateful for all of you that are willing to come out and do this with us. And we might have maybe a couple too many two hands this time around, but we rather, again, err on the side of caution, see exactly what we need, and we can readjust. So, like Ashley said, we'll be looking forward to your feedback after the event. We'll probably be sending out one of our surveys like we do so you can give any feedback because it's our first time around. So, good, bad, whatever it is, we would like to hear it and we're thankful that you're willing to come and spend the morning and the afternoon with us for our first tailgate ever.
Woohoo.
I know.
Excited. History being made. We're part of it, guys.
I know. This is so cool. Okay, just a couple other questions, not specific to parking in the map. So I think you can bring that down. Some of them we've
That's cool.
already answered in there, but I'm just going to repeat it out loud just in case there's anyone who wants this later that's watching the recording. Um, Sonia said, my husband is interested and willing. Yay. Thank you, Sonia. So if anybody else has a friend or a family member, what we'll do is we'll send you a registration link. I just got to make sure we have it set up. So volunteers that aren't already in our system can register. It's just a name, a phone number, an email address. It's super simple. And then they'll sign our electronic waiver that just says like, yes, I know I'm volunteering and Michigan Humane is going to try to keep me safe and give me all the things I need to do my job. But, accidents happen and I'm volunteering at my own risk kind of thing. Everybody who's already a volunteer signs that for us. So it shouldn't be anything new or scary, but that's what they would get. So super, super easy for someone to join us. You can share this recording link with them if you want afterwards. The spaces that are available, they're available in service. So I'm pretty sure we're looking for Pooch Patrol, sponsor activation, which is the 9:30 to 2 roll. We have a couple walking path for the 1K, which is the 8 to 11. But those volunteers, if they'd like to stay longer than 11, because that's a shorter shift, they can. We can repurpose them in the event. So that's the space we're looking. And we just added something new. Ashley doesn't even know this yet. We are having a Michigan Humane informational tent that's a little bit separate from the vendors, and it's going to kind of be a catch-all just to learn about Michigan Humane and our organization. So if we have guests that are attending this event and they're not familiar with Michigan Humane, there will be resources about dog day getaways. There will be resources about signing up for a kibble newsletter, volunteering, things of that nature. So we're actually looking for a volunteer that wouldn't mind come hanging out with Ashley Greco, who is our foster coordinator. So, and then our marketing team will be popping in and out of that tent, along with probably the volunteer team as well. But we just want to make sure we have two people that can kind of like hold down the fort there for us. So there's one space for that, and that's a 8 to 2 role, but we can be flexible. So if they can't be there all the time and they want to come from like noon to 2, we're happy to do that. So if you're interested, email any one of us, your coordinator that you know, Ashley, me, put it in the chat here. We'll get you the information. Like it's going to be a fun event. So everyone's welcome to come and hang out how they want to hang out with us.
Okay.
I
Lengthy answer. Sorry about that.
I see a question about what color the shirts are. I don't know, Jen. I don't know if you've been told yet.
I actually don't know that. It's going to be a surprise.
Yeah, we've had probably within our color range of our brand. So in the previous years when we received them at March, they've been like that nice chocolatey brown color with white lettering or like a teal, like a bright blue teal. So my assumption is it'll probably be in our color, brand colors. But they always look so pretty at this event. So anything else in here? Oh, someone said protein bars are good and easy to carry. That is very true and very smart. And I did want to mention, since all of these roles are essentially Pooch Patrol, if you've been with us before, you know that we give out to our volunteers like the little treat pouches. We don't have enough for every single person because we have so many Pooch Patrol roles for this. So if you would like to bring a fanny pack or something, it might be smart for you to have your like snack in there. And then everyone will receive a treat bag and poop bags. Like I'll make sure that you have those. I just don't have enough containers for everyone. So if you wanted to bring like a little fanny pack or something, that might be a good way to carry your stuff around. A couple of our volunteers do that for events. So smart. Let's see. Um, if there's any more. I don't think there was anything else that didn't already get answered in there. Okay, I think we're good. If you guys come up with anything between now and Saturday, like Jen mentioned, please reach out to one of us. We're here and available. Our next 2 days are dedicated to Tailgate. So please send us any questions or concerns that you have, and we will be sending your run of show tomorrow, individualized for whatever role you're in, so that you have just the details that you will need. But feel free to reach out to any of us in the meantime. But thank you guys so much for being there. Thank you for being here tonight. We really appreciate
Thanks.
it. Thank you.
Thank you guys. We appreciate you. Ashley, when you end the recording, hi Sherry, we're so excited to see you. We're so happy to see you on the list. I was like, yay.
Been
Um,
too long.
I know we haven't seen you in a bit. Ashley, when you end the recording, I just want to stay on for a minute so I can talk to Stacy a little bit more.
I'm gonna go ahead and
We were
stop it now.
direct messaging, so
Good.